Melina Mike Aloha, and welcome back to Spark and Inspire Week 2020. You are in the right place and you're in for an amazing evening. We are on our third and final night. This is a finale. So far, we've had more than 240 audience members attend live across Zoom, Facebook, and YouTube to hear from and support three awesome presenters. We had Lauren and Olga on night one and Jamie last night on night two. We've heard inspiring visions for increasing the sense of belonging for our military and our local keiki in Wahiawa community, and how we're changing the world through culturally relevant financial literacy and economic empowerment. Tonight, we're showcasing another beacon lighting the way through these changing times. And we know nothing can really take the place for us gathering together in person, but to delay the opportunity to celebrate our shining star teachers and projects that really reflect the spirit of aloha and of resilience, of equity and social change was just something that we weren't willing to do. So coming together online is just the start of our conversation. And it's the beginning of us marking our time together. You are not just here to bear witness to these amazing projects and learning journeys. You're here to be part of the story with us. So whether you joined us the last two nights or last year, or you're brand new and your new friends joining us this evening, we welcome you in. So before we jump in, it's my honor to introduce the two amazing leads behind this beautiful event. Jill Baltimore, Executive Director for Teach for America Hawaii, and David Miyashiro, Executive Director for Hawaii Kids Can. Hey, Jill. Hey, David.
Hi, everybody. So excited to be here with you all. Aloha and welcome back to Spark and Inspire Week 2020. I can't believe we made it to the finale, but really, really excited to be here. Last year, Teach for America Hawaii and Hawaii Kids Can joined hands to launch Spark and Inspire, an event to celebrate and share some of the most innovative work happening here in our Hawaii schools. Both of our organizations share a vision of all students having access to a high quality education that opens doors of opportunity. At Hawaii Kids Can, we advocate for a more innovative approach and a more equitable education system. Our work includes our WAVE program, which empowers students to speak out for real policy change in education. And actually, we have some of our WAVE students monitoring this live stream across multiple platforms right now. So they're always looking for opportunities to get involved and speak out. One of the reasons we worked with Teach for America Hawaii on this is our joint hope with Spark Inspire is to shine a light on the innovative work that is already happening in our schools and to spark new and innovative ideas that will further enrich opportunities for our keiki. More than ever, it's clear that the complex challenges of our local and global communities face will require responsive community-led solutions. We knew that before COVID-19 struck, and we're seeing it more than ever now.
Hey everyone, it's great to be back for night 3 of Spark and Inspire. As David shared, our organization share this vision for all students having access to a high quality education that opens doors of opportunity. And at Teach for America, our focus is really on developing the leaders who contribute to systemic change starting in the classroom. So all these nights of Spark and Inspire, we've been proud to feature our alumni at Teach for America. And tonight we get to hear from David Wild. A year after our inaugural launch, we're all trying to be innovators in our own way as we pivot and learn and try new things to adjust to this most unusual time. For some of us, this might be a bit challenging, but for our teachers and our educators, they are made for this moment. Every day, our teachers, administrators, and countless educators bring passion, positivity, innovation, and entrepreneurship to their work here in Hawaii. Much like entrepreneurs, They have identified something that's missing in the market. They have been creative in designing an initiative, and they are resilient in finding resources. But unique to educators, at the very heart of all of their initiatives is a deep belief in our kids and communities and a desire to positively contribute to education here in Hawaii. So we call them edupreneurs. Entrepreneur plus educator equals edupreneur.
So last year, we were really excited to see 4 groups of local edupreneurs come together for the first time to share their innovations. And it's been exciting to see that work continue. For example, the Maestros Vibe podcast crew used their grant from Spark and Inspire to purchase new equipment and handle LLC fees. Their podcast is now accessible on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, and Spotify, and they've recorded nearly 30 episodes since Spark and Inspire 2019, with an average of 500 listeners a month. To support Spark and Inspire 2020, they recorded episodes with each current presenter group, and they'll be moderating audience Q&A later this evening. Another example is Bill Chen and Matthew Williams, who used their grant for tech and video camera supplies to run monthly pop-ups for their shared STEM learning space. They've been hosting monthly co-designer meetings where parents, community members, and students are part of designing and driving the space, and they have plans to apply for a number of Innovation Accelerator and Social Innovation Awards and grants. So this year, Spark and Inspire will highlight the innovative work of 3 new groups of edupreneurs.
Now, as we work to reimagine this event, we've leaned into the very values of Spark and Inspire: innovation, agility, and community partnership. Tonight, you all will be able to participate from the comfort of your own home, allowing us to connect across different islands and even states. The incredible filmmaking of Leah Lucine Carey has captured the passion of our presenters and will bring you directly into their communities and classrooms. And you, our audience, you have a very important role to play. Whether you're joining us live on Zoom, Facebook, or YouTube, we're hoping all of you will use Slido to share your questions and reactions and help make tonight a conversation across our community. We also want to take some time to thank our 9 resource experts who will join us throughout the week to share their mana'o. Big mahalo to Cece Chung, 2020 Hawaii State Teacher of the Year, teacher at Kaimiloa Elementary, and 2013 Teach for America Hawaii alum.
Mahina Paishan Duarte, Managing Partner and Co-Founder of Vibe Collective.
Jessica Kaneakua, Community Change Initiatives Lead at Lili'uo Kalani Trust.
Lauren Name, Vice President of Strategy and Transformation at Kamehameha Schools.
Ed No, Executive Director of the Leadership Institute at the Hawaii State Department of Education.
Catherine Payne, Chairperson of the Hawaii State Board of Education.
Tara Shibiu, Director of Scholarship Administration for the Hawaii Community Foundation.
Ben Trevino, Sustainability Planner at Honolulu Authority for Rapid Transportation.
And Phyllis Unadasami, Deputy Superintendent of the Hawaii State Department of Education.
Tonight, we'll be joined by Cece, Lauren, Tara, and Mahina. Last but certainly not least, we want to give a big thank you to our sponsors: Public Schools of Hawaii Foundation, Hawaiian Telecom, AT&T, Student Corner, Maestros Vibe, and last but certainly not least, our amazing MC for the evening, Elena Farden. Elena is the Executive Director of the Native Hawaiian Education Council, and she is an awesome community partner. I can tell you that firsthand. So mahalo for all of you for being here, joining us live, wherever you're tuning in from. Have a wonderful evening. Elena, take it away.
Awesome. Thanks, David. I realized I didn't introduce myself, so happy to be here. Our flow for the evening will begin with a presenter video, followed by a discussion with our resource experts, and then rounded up with an audience Q&A expertly handled by Maestros Vibe. So for our audience, we'll be using Slido as our platform to source your questions and wonderings. So no matter if you're watching from Zoom or Facebook or YouTube, this is going to be our central platform throughout the evening to share your feedback with the presenter. You can access Slido on your smartphone. You want to simply use your camera on your phone and aim it at the QR code image you see on the screen, and it'll take you directly to our Slido page. If that doesn't work, you can always go to App Slido. That's app.sli.do, and you want to put in the code 36656. That's 36656. So to familiarize everyone with the platform, let's go to Slido now for a quick poll. When you can see the poll, go ahead and answer the questions that are listed. And let's take a few minutes for folks to try this out. So our question of the evening is, how do you personally honor your family history? So far, the top response trending is preparing traditional foods, my favorite. Second is coming in is community involvement. Awesome way to give back to our community and show our civic engagement. Spirituality and religion, a close third. And creating arts and crafts and dances are coming in fourth and fifth. So awesome. We have about 40 responses so far. Great to see that happening. So without further ado, I want to present our next presenter. So he says he thrives in social settings, or he also thrives by doing. So whether that's 4 a.m. bike riding or watching butterfly cocoons or distributing technology to students in his community during the pandemic, yes, this 6-year Konawana high school teacher is a wildcat at heart, even down to his name, David Wild. His Go Wild Foundation scholarship celebrates Indigenous identity and increases access for students to pursue higher learning. Let's show you this awesome presenter in action.
I'm a California boy through and through. I grew up in San Diego and I went to school at UC Berkeley, but it's more than that. It's in my blood. My mom is Karuk. Karuk is a tribe in Northern California in what is now Humboldt. I've always felt a little disconnected from the tribe. Being so far from the land, being so far from the people, there was always a little feeling of something missing in my identity. I was a runner, a swimmer, cyclist early on in life, and it was that meditative flow state that I could get into when I really got into a certain zone. I could feel this rhythmic, honestly, this rhythmic drum beat, and it would always bring me back to these jump dance ceremonies that I went to. I still hear these drums and I still feel that rhythm when I do my sport now out here on the Big Island. There's this connection to my tribe, to my spirits, to my ancestors, and I want to be more connected with my people. And this is exactly why I've started the Go Wild Scholarship. The Go Wild Scholarship celebrates Native identity. Students who are proud of their Native identity deserve to be celebrated. This scholarship does just that. This scholarship exists for students who are honoring their Native traditions. Because you see, there are plenty of scholarships out there that exist for students with great academics, with great athletics. The Go Wild Scholarship stands out because it awards students for honoring their heritage, who are working so hard to practice their traditions and sing their native songs, speak their native language, prepare those native foods. If we don't honor those kids, all we're saying is that success in the Western education is all that matters. That's the message we're sending. And you know, in Hawaii, I see that it's different. I feel it. In Hawaii, communities honor Native culture. In Hawaii, communities celebrate Native identity. This is why I came to Hawaii to begin with. I wanted to be a part of that. I wanted to be a part of this movement. Rewind back to working in San Francisco at a research company. I was staring at a screen for 8 hours a day, every day. I started thinking, like, I want to serve. And that's how I landed on the TFA website. I knew that if I could be a math teacher, someone who's genuinely passionate about the subject, could maybe leverage that. Maybe I could use that as a vehicle to be that teacher that tells them that their identity matters. That is so important, and that is who you are. That is where you come from. That's exactly what would make your ancestors look down on you and be beaming with pride. Students who are proud of their Native identity deserve to be celebrated. The Go Wild Scholarship does exactly that.
Mahalo, David, for that inspiring video. I get a sense that it's also your sense of service that's part of your identity. So happy that you were able to share this with us. Joining David will also be our diverse set of resource experts. So starting off tonight, we have Cecilia Chung joining us for the third consecutive night. Cici Chung is a sixth grade teacher at Ka'imilo Elementary School in Eva Beach and a 2013 Teach for America Hawai'i alum. Cici is also the 2020 Hawaii State Teacher of the Year and President-elect for the Hawaii Society of Technology and Education. Welcome back, Cici. Joining Cici is Lauren Name, Vice President of Strategy and Transformation for Kamehameha Schools, where her primary kuleana is to ensure the successful implementation of KS's Strategic Plan 2020. The plan envisions KS and its community collaborators working together to have a greater collective impact on Native Hawaiian learners. Aloha, Lauren. And joining the group is also Mahina Paishan-Dort. She is the managing partner, and co-founder for Vai Collective, a co-creative hub for community, culture, and commerce. Mahina is a social entrepreneur who has worked in a number of educational and cultural organizations, including Paipai Oheia, Noa Papahanamoku Akea Marine National Monument, and Halau Kumana and Kanoka Public Charter Schools. Aloha, Mahina, and welcome. And rounding out our group is Tara Shibuya. She's a Director of Scholarship Administration for the Hawaii Community Foundation, which distributes over 200 types of scholarships on behalf of generous individuals, our local organizations, and our corporate donors. She previously held roles at Bank of Hawaii and the Legal Aid Society of Hawaii. Welcome, Tara. So glad to have you with us. So first up, I'm going to ask each resource expert to share just an initial reaction. And after that, we'll have time for our open-ended discussion. But before we start off with Tara, I want to remind our audience to get in their questions with Saito. So Tara, starting off with you, share some initial reactions to David's Go Wild Foundation, and then any questions that you have for him.
Thank you so much, Elena, and thank you everyone for having me. This is my first Spark and Inspire, so I'm really excited to be here. And I just, I loved watching David's video about what inspired him to create this scholarship. I think that a lot of equity talk has been going on nationwide, and I just think that this is exactly the type of not different, but just a different way of thinking of how to create these scholarships. So my first question is, it's around just, for you, David, why do you feel that honoring someone's culture and Native identity is important? I think that's, I think that kind of goes to the root of why you created a scholarship, but if you don't mind expanding on that.
Thank you for that question, Tara, and thank you all for watching the video. I am, first of all, just want to say so honored to be here. So yeah, I think there are so many ways that we celebrate students' hard work through academics and through their athletics. And yet we all know that our students are also doing these extracurricular things that are so important to their identity. And yet there aren't that many avenues that we as adults, we as teachers can really show them that they deserve to be celebrated. And so I figured a scholarship would be a great way to tangibly deliver that award to them for all of the hard work they do in honoring who they are and honoring their ancestors.
Mahalo, Tara. Mahalo, David. Next, I wanted to go to Cece as our 2020 Hawaii Teacher of the Year. Some initial thoughts that you have, especially working with students, and any questions that you might have for David.
Thanks, Elena, and thank you, David, for that video. And I said it the first night, I said it the second night. Tonight feels the same, like just watching that video, very inspiring, a lot of thoughts going in my head. I actually had a bunch of questions, but I should probably tone it down. I first want to say, wow, like you know, you were able to identify a need that was that was so personal to your own life. And I think you found a connection to a community here in Hawaii, which is really just, when I was watching the video and listening to the work that you did with the students, it's really inspiring. So thank you for that. I was thinking about how important it is for students to understand, you know, their personal identity and to be affirmed in that, but to go deeper into their cultural identity is so critical, right? To connect them to a history that just often gets erased or never even told, especially for you know, Indigenous communities. So I was reading from some of your student, actually his name is Cyrus Junalon. And one thing that he said was I wanted to ask you about that. He said, "My plans for the future have not changed, and I still want to come back to Hawaii after I graduate and help build more renewable resources for Hawaii Island in order to make it 100% run off of renewable energy." So the idea that he's using the scholarship money to, you know, fuel himself, and then the commitment back to the islands is amazing. And I was just curious, like, was that part of your intention with the scholarship, like this ability to kind of grow back the community, bring back the youth, and go from there?
Yes, definitely part of the intention. And thanks for bringing that up and highlighting my former student, Cyrus. And yes, in the application process, one of the questions asks my students to describe how they plan or hope to give back to the Native community that raised them. And so, yeah, his testimonial there that you just read off was so awesome to read because he has these tangible deliverables that he wants to bring back to Hawaii Island, and connecting so many important issues when we talk about renewable energy and respecting the land and respecting the people of Hawaii. So yes, it was my intention for them to think about how they can plan to give back, but I definitely was pleasantly surprised with such a robust answer from him.
It's awesome. Thanks, David.
Awesome, so inspiring. Next, I want to give time for Mahina and wondering what her thoughts were, especially working with Indigenous communities and with students, how this resonated with her, and maybe if she has any questions or wondering, especially coming from a social entrepreneurship lens. Mahina?
Thank you. I just wanted to thank you, David, for listening to that inner voice, because it's, you know, as adults, we don't always take on courage, you know, take on that courageous moment where we're going to maybe shift course, right? And I'm so thrilled to hear that you have a passion for mathematics, and that is so critical. And we know the statistics, right, as educators, that math is a subject that many of our kids want to fall in love with, and have not had maybe previous experience with falling in love with that particular content area. So I want to really applaud you for your commitment for that area. Yeah, so my question is kind of around resilience. So we know that having a strong cultural foundation, strong cultural identity does help with this idea of resilience. And given, you know, the circumstances that we are facing as a local and global society in COVID-19, my wondering, it's just an open wondering, like how might a scholarship, your scholarship, help students connect a strong cultural identity to this idea of resilience and this ability to overcome adversity and challenge as they journey through life?
Thank you, Mahina. And yeah, thank you for speaking on behalf of all the difficulties that can come around learning about math. So yeah, I think that, I mean, all of the things that our seniors are doing to prepare for college, when it comes to academics, you know, applying for different scholarships, and then having this opportunity through the Go Wild Scholarship to come back to their roots and reflect upon all of the work they've been doing their whole lives with their families or with themselves, with their communities, to honor their Native identity. I think that can really ground them and, you know, remind them of what has been so important for them, and that they can use their Native identity as a grounding force as they step into college and as they step into this unknown, especially the students who are leaving the island and experiencing whole new communities, whole new climate. They can always come back to their selves, to their identity, and remember where they come from, and remember that they have family, ancestors, and, you know, their spirits looking after them, and they have their back. So that's how I think this scholarship can, you know, help them remain resilient during these tough times. And I mean, and then more on a very specific note, the scholarship itself can totally help pay for the necessary technology that's going to be even more needed during these times where a lot of students are stepping into college for their first semester and it's all online. So having, you know, having good webcam, microphone, laptop, all the things that are necessary for, you know, learning online, this scholarship can help pay for that right off the bat.
Thank you. I'm also very passionate about digital equity and broadband equity as well. So thank you for that. Mahalo.
Thank you.
Mahalo, Mahina. Mahalo, David. And rounding out our experts, I want to turn time to Lauren for any responses or anything that resonated with her in seeing how scholarships also fit into the larger strategic vision for Kamehameha, and maybe any questions or wondering she might have from a strategic standpoint. Lauren.
Aloha, David. Thank you so much for everything that you're bringing to your work, and even not being from here, just jumping in with your whole self and just giving it your all for your kids. I'm very inspired by that. So thank you so much. I was wondering, I guess a couple of things. I actually have a long list because I'm so intrigued by what you're doing, but I'll keep it short. So the first one is, I was wondering if you've been able to integrate identity into your math class, which I think would be really fascinating. And if you have, do you notice, do you have any creative way of assessing whether or not that's made a difference in the performance or engagement in your students? So that's one thing I wondered. And then the second one, specifically for the scholarship, just wondering about who you may be partnering with so that you can continue to sustain I guess the commitments that are going to be started with these students.
Right. All right. Well, thank you for that question, Lauren. So speaking on the first question, yes, in my classes over the 6 years, I've definitely tried to integrate work about identity and, you know, making my students feel at home in the classroom is super important. And especially in a math class when we don't know their previous math class history. And if that class didn't allow them to feel that they could be themselves, and if those classes before, you know, were not hospitable, then that can, you know, steer them away from liking math forever. So I've tried to reset that by doing fun projects about, you know, let's talk about your roots. I tell them that you have to water your roots for your tree to grow. And we've done, you know, projects where they tell us, they explain about their ancestry, and we make posters, put them on the wall. And it's just a fun thing for students to see as they walk in, as they walk out. And Yeah, I mean, that's the first one that comes to mind. That's something that we do every year. And apologies, but can you ask that second question one more time?
Oh, I was just wondering if you either have partners already or might be aspiring to have other partners that might help in continuing or the sustainability, I guess, of funding for this program.
Yes, definitely. So yeah, this year especially was exciting to partner up with a local restaurant group. The Lava Lava Beach Club and Huggo's owners have a charity of the month, and in February, I got to be the Go Wild Scholarship got to be the charity of the month, and it was really exciting to partner with them. And they raised more money than I was able to raise my first year in just 1 month, and they were super excited about the success and definitely see that going forward as well. And I also have to say I was pretty lucky to get in February right before all the restaurants closed. That timing was a blessing. And also a local physical therapy center, Club Rehab, they put on a 5K, 10K walk run, and the proceeds went straight to Go Wild Scholarship. And finally, I also want to give credit to the nonprofit Wild by Nature that I've been working with directly to be able to receive the donations and then distribute them. And so those partnerships will continue. Hopefully, though, this year I'll be able to create my own nonprofit so that it can be all based right here on island.
Mahalo, Lauren. Mahalo, David. We have about 3 minutes. So David, I'm wondering if you might have maybe one quick question for any one of our resource experts that you wanted to ask.
Yes. Okay. So I do have plenty of questions because all 4 of you are some amazing experts that I would love to talk story with for so long. However, I'll just keep it to one. So I guess, going back to earlier, when we send out the application to our students, one of the questions is, how do you plan to give back to the Native community that raised you? And so one of my questions would be, maybe is there what kind of opportunities could we create for them to be able to give back? Perhaps they they have some ideas, but are there opportunities already here, or maybe some opportunities you have some ideas about that we could provide for them after they graduate or as they come back from college?
I'll leave this open for any one of the resource experts that want to answer. Any quick thoughts?
Sure, I'll give it a stab. Definitely, you could reach out to the Chamber of Commerce, the local Chamber of Commerce, because they have a network, right, of all of their members. And so some of the businesses might have an opportunity where students could intern or volunteer there. And then there's lots of benefits there, right? They're creating connections, they get to learn additional skills. Their network is being brought in, and we establish some kind of, hopefully, a mentorship kind of relationship, and maybe potential sponsors for or matching partners, right, for your scholarship. I think another area is I would look at maybe the Association of Hawaiian Civic Clubs, and you can take a look, and they work with different Aina-based organizations, and not just Native Hawaiian organizations. I mean, the Japanese community in Kona is hugely active in our community. So is the Chinese community and Portuguese community. So there's ample, I think, opportunity. And if you need help making connections, I'd love to help you. I'm in Kona, so I'd be more than happy to help.
Oh, that'd be great. Thank you, Mahina.
Mahalo, Mahina. Mahalo to all our resource experts, Cece, Mahina, Lauren, and Tara. I know this won't be the last time that you folks will get together and collaborate and share with David. So we thank you so much for your time. David, you'll stay with me, and we want to introduce our next segment to make sure that we have time for our audience Q&A. So this dynamic team, we're presenters at last year's Spark and Inspire, and we're thrilled to have them back this year to lead the Q&A with our audience. Maestro's Vibe podcast is a creative space to discuss, engage, collaborate with other educators about topics that shape our educational landscape here in Hawaii. And this is their fifth podcast season. So, here to elevate our conversations together on education is Karina, Juan, and Kevin of Maestro's Vibe. Hi, guys.
Aloha, Elena. It's good to be back for day 3. I hope our audience is having a great time. My name is Kevin Argueta, and I'm part of the Maestro's Vibe. We are back here to elevate our audience's voice. Check out our podcast on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, Google Play, wherever you digest your podcast. Remember to have your voice heard by inputting your questions into Slido and Facebook Live. And Karina or Juan, what do you have for us first?
Thank you very much, sir. This Slido is hot today. This is Juan Espinal. And David, our first question for you, sir. How does your scholarship incorporate indigenous ways of knowledge throughout the application process?
All right. Thank you, Juan and Kevin and Karina, Maestro's Vibe. Really appreciate you guys being here. So that is such a great question. Yeah, so I spoke on the one of the short essay questions on the application earlier. The first question that we ask our applicants is to describe how they are celebrating their ancestry. How are they practicing their cultural traditions? All it is tell us about the things that you're doing that you know your ancestors would be so proud of. Tell us about the dance, the language, the food, everything that you're doing, and then tell us about how you're going to bring back your educational experience back to the island. How do you plan to contribute back to the place that raised you and the people that raised you?
That's beautiful. Thank you, David, for all the work that you're doing, for all of the businesses that you have been able to reach out on your own and getting out there in the community to make this happen. I know our students need it and they're thankful for it. With that, we have a recent question that's asking, what support do you need to sustain and grow this project?
All right. Thank you, Karina. So yes, support. I need to secure partners here. I need partners to be able to help me out with some little things that are hard for just one person to do, and then also some big things in terms of making the fund sustainable for long-term purposes. So I would love to secure partnerships with perhaps those who can help with the website development, those who can help set up nonprofit governing structures, those who can help me network with partners and donors who would be able to create sustainable partnerships in the funding of this scholarship, and also collaborators to figure out better ways to keep this going, better ways to circle back with the students after they graduate. Each year, how can we circle the students back to Hawaii and have them think more about their identity again and see how that has evolved through their education process.
And David, that blends really well into another question that folks are asking. And don't forget, folks out there in the audience, input your questions into the Slido app and Facebook Live so that we can continue to have your voices heard. Dave, our next question is about that, about continuing, that student support. Have you thought about prolonging the scholarship experience and mentoring students after they receive the award?
Yes, I definitely have. Thanks for asking that, Kevin. And yeah, the prolonging of this scholarship is such a great idea. And going next year, I would like that to begin where we do annual check-ins with the applicants and with the scholarship winners and circle back with them, like I was saying earlier, ask them a few questions about how their identity is evolving, how they, have felt when they were, just when they were on Hawaii Island or when they're in Hawaii as Native students, and now they're out there in a different state when they might be the only Native person they know, and have them circle back and re-answers those application questions, and just to check in, to remind them that their Native identity matters more than ever as they've left home and gone off to these different places around the world. And I just wanted to plug back into that question and the previous question about asks. I want to plug the student corner page that I have, and on there you can see more detailed answers to these questions, these great questions. So check that out, definitely.
Yeah, Student Corner is doing some fine work. All projects from all 3 days are going to be available on there. Thanks again for letting us remind us about that, David. Amy's got the next question for you, sir. Okay, thinking about these students and this amazing opportunity that they have, can they apply to use the scholarship aid for opportunities other than academics, such as internships, cultural experiences, and vocational training?
Yes, that is such a good, I love that idea. And yes, absolutely. We're not only focused on the traditional four-year university. We definitely are applying, we can apply these scholarships to students who are pursuing vocational or non-traditional education, especially things like that, like internships or, programs that I probably haven't even heard of yet, that are focused on, Native education and, non-traditional Western education. So yes, and I would love to, again, collaborate more with potential partners to learn more about those kinds of programs.
Alrighty, thank you, David, for that, and for reminding our viewers to check out Student Corner, where you have more information about your Go Wild scholarship. Thank you. We have time for another question here that's asking, besides talking about it, how have you engaged your students in elevating culture?
Okay. Well, let's see. So, I mean, definitely, showing them that I totally care and that I celebrate it with them and I get excited about it with them. I talk to them about opportunities that I've heard that are happening on the island. And, I would honestly like to do this more, to be totally honest with you. And it can be difficult as a math teacher teaching to the curriculum. So to be completely frank with you, I want to do this more. And I would love to hear some ideas and again, collaborate. If you have any advice on how I can do that as a math teacher, I would love to be doing that.
David, I love your ability to reflect and think about how you as a lifelong learner can continue this path of enlightenment. The next question that we have for you is, how do you hold your Indigenous and triathlete identity together at the same time through the scholarship, which I think could lend itself into helping you figure out what other ways, to elevate students' particular Native identity?
Yeah, so the connections there are pretty cool and pretty interesting, to be honest. And, when I came to this island, I didn't know that all these things would be connecting: teaching, my sport and triathlon, my Native identity, and celebrating our students' Native identities. And, not to go too far into the backstory of the creation of this scholarship, but, some of the first people who were funding this scholarship fund were my connections in triathlon. As you all know, the big Ironman World Championship takes place in Kona every year. And a lot of people from around the world will come here, and a lot of them want to be able to help. A lot of them want to be able to contribute. They want to be able to somehow give back to the island other than, staying at a hotel and going to restaurants. They want to be able to get involved with real people. And so I pitched this idea to a few of my friends in the triathlete community, and it was such a beautiful thing to receive such support from people all over over the world through this sport of triathlon. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of connections, but that's the one that first comes to mind.
That's definitely something powerful to think about, because money matters for sure. And we've got some amazing questions coming up. Keep logging into that Slido. They're coming in hot. Sorry to our Facebook people who are experiencing a few glitches, but big mahalo for sticking with us. We got a brand new question. I think it ties to what we just heard. What is the significance of using your name in the scholarship?
So, okay, actually, let's bring it back to the origin story of this scholarship. It started with some great, amazing teacher friends, and they're actually here on screen right now, and some other great, amazing teachers, Bill Chen, Ali Serena, and I was talking about, you know, having a shirt for Ironman. As I raced the race for the first time ever, I wanted to create a shirt that would, you know, let my friends and family know that they are supporting me. And so I thought, you know, go David Wild, Team Wild, go Wild. Sure, why not? Let's do go Wild. And then, you know, I need to sell these shirts because, you know, they could cost money to make, but I'm not trying to make a profit off this. So where should I put this money? Oh, let's create a scholarship. Oh my gosh, let's create a scholarship that's that honors students in a way that is so important to me and so important to our Native community. And let's put all of that money into a scholarship fund. And I mean, the rest is history, to be honest. That's how it started, and it kind of just stuck.
I remember that process, and it's so beautiful to witness how your idea has flourished to be where it's at today, how you have been able to provide those scholarships to our students. I know that the audience is also wondering, how do you plan on expanding this, or are you planning to expanding this scholarship to, let's say, California or elsewhere?
Yes, we definitely are planning on expanding this scholarship. So for now, it's at Konawaena High School. Next year, it'll be expanded to 2 other regions, one being Kealakehe High School, which is, you know, right down the road here in Kona, and also the Karuk tribal area in Northern California. Because as I've said a couple times here, and as it says in the application process, how will you give back to the Native community? And so I want to put those actions to words for myself as well, and I want to be able to provide back to the Native community of my own, the Karuk tribe in Humboldt. So those are the 3 regions next year, and then after that, we do plan to expand even further back to my alma mater high school in San Diego, and so there would be 3. Perhaps 4 schools over the next few years. And to see more details about all of that, I want to point you guys again to the student corner page, where I have year 1, year 2, year 3 years planned out for the next 5 years.
Thank you, Dave. And to our audience, I know we're experiencing some technical difficulties over on the Facebook live stream. Go ahead and join Teach for America Hawaii's or Hawaii Kids Can YouTube live stream. That is up and running without any glitches. I think we have time for one more question, Dave. How do you build momentum leveraging your school staff, students, and community next year?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think one of the cool things about our school in particular is this sense of ohana, the sense of community, and how we all are supporting each other's projects. And it can be seen with these t-shirts that I sold the first year, and actually this year as well, that all the funds go straight to the Go Wild Scholarship. Seeing teachers, seeing admins, seeing the principals, seeing students wear these shirts around, and you know, getting excited about events. Last year we had a whole group volunteering at Ironman, and there was a lot of Go Wild representation there. And yeah, just, bringing it up at staff meetings, bringing it up to, my math department. And I went to the scholarship fair this year and at our school, and was able to present to students and families and give everyone information about the scholarship. So doing things like that, and staying involved. And again, I would love to collaborate with any potential partners who would like to use me and our Go Wild scholars to perhaps volunteer, join an event, and spread the word.
Hey man, that is exactly what we're talking about. If you're interested in spreading the word more or finding out more about what David's up to with his project, go to that Student Corner link. David, big mahalo for joining us tonight. Thanks for letting us join you. If you want to hear more about this conversation, you can actually hear it on Maestro's Vibe. We had a little behind the scenes interview with David and all the other Spark and Inspire presenters. We got a new episode coming out tomorrow and every Monday and Friday thereafter. So check it out, Maestro's Vibe. Please rate us, review us, leave us 5 stars. If not, we might be inclined to think that you don't support education. Elena, back to you.
Awesome. I so want to be a cool podcaster. So in celebration of you, David, and Kevin, Juan, and Karina at Maestro's Vibe, I'm going to just don on the headset so I can channel the amazing energy that you folks are giving. So mahalo for leading a great discussion, Maestro's Vibe. Make sure you check them out on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, wherever you get your podcasts. We're also incredibly grateful to have Student Corner as our first time sponsor this year. Student Corner is a web platform that showcases student work, and it's a brainchild of UH Hilo computer science student George Donev. Student Corner's user base has been growing exponentially, and it saved the 2020 Hawaii State Science and Engineering Fair by helping to enable submissions from more than 400 participants to go viral on its platform. So all the projects are viewable on the public on the Student Corner site. You, our audience, can participate in supporting the project you saw tonight with David by learning more on Student Corner. We'll have a picture of a QR code on the screen that the audience can use their smartphone to access Student Corner. And while our presenters are building out their awesome websites of their own, the Spark and Inspire Student Corner page is the master platform to keep track of all Spark and Inspire projects. These presenters will be updating their projects regularly so you can follow along and see how you can continue to support them. So as we near the end of our night, let's welcome back Jill and David to close us out.
Hey everybody, I can't believe this is the finale. It's been so much fun. Mahalo to our presenters, resource experts, Maestro's Vibe, and most of all you, no matter where you are, for making these virtual pitches come to life. It's just so awesome to me to see the energy we can create, even if we're separated physically. So I see this as the start of our partnership with these great leaders and presenters. So you should definitely stay tuned for some exciting updates that'll be coming out. Before we close out the night, we wanted to extend one last mahalo to the folks and organizations who made this week possible. So thank you so much to the Public Schools of Hawaii Foundation, AT&T, and Hawaiian Telecom for supporting Spark and Inspire for 2 years in a row. The Public Schools of Hawaii Foundation has generously provided $2,500 seed grants to each presenter group to boost their projects immediately. Mahalo to our resource experts tonight, Cece, Lauren, Tara, and Mahina, and to Maestro's Vibe and Student Corner, Juan Espinal, Kevin Argueta, Karina Hernandez, and George Donev. Mahalo to the coaches who helped to support our presenters, including Bella Hughes from Shaka Tea. Mahalo to Ken Hiraki, Liz Songvile, Ani Menon, Francis Cho for their partnership. And last but not least, thank you to our students who've been helping with our live stream, Stephanie Abanya, May Rose Mukihea, and Phoenix Maimiti Valentine.
And while we couldn't gather in person this year, we still want to send our aloha to Kawaii and Waipahu High School's Culinary Arts Program for being a part of our original Spark and Inspire plan for 2020. We hope to partner with you again in the not too distant future. Again, thank you to all of you who are watching and participating with us tonight. And for those of you who have joined us for 3 nights in a row, mahalo, mahalo, mahalo. It's been a fun and inspiring week, and we appreciate you all tuning in. We hope this experience is the start of your partnership with all of our presenters. We encourage you to follow their progress on Student Corner and support them as they pursue their visions. Most of all, we hope you are leaving tonight sparked and inspired by the innovative work happening in our schools and all that we can accomplish as a community together. That's a wrap. Mahalo nui and a hui ho.
How I can do that as a math teacher. I would love to do.
David, I love your